Let's be honest, absolutely nobody likes loading screens. But try and entertain us as they might with tips we're already fully aware of, or whatever polygonal trinkets we're allowed to zoom in and out of to our heart's content. Loading screens are about as fun to sit through as watching paint dry. So it would be nice if they gave us something to entertain us with these ever-increasing annoyances. But the saddest part is, they couldn't. Well, they technically could have if they looked hard enough. Let's head back to the launch of the original PlayStation. The must-have game to own for Sony's little grey box of joy at launch was a port of Namco's arcade hit, Ridge Racer. But unfortunately, as it was so memory intensive at the time, it took a while to load. That's where Namco came up with a genius of idea of disguising the frustration by adding a little minigame of Gallagher to pass the time. And even better, beating this minigame also allowed you to unlock new vehicles in the game, so it was a win-win situation for gamers. Or so we thought. Namco decided the idea was so good, they took a patent out of it so no other bugger could do it. They of course placed this exclusivity in a number of future PlayStation titles, which culminated in Starblade, itself a PS1 game, as a loading screen minigame for Tekken 5. But for those who bought a non-Namco published game, we had to lump it and sit through static screens for the next 2 decades until the patent expired in 2015. Now the worst part about this patent, that it was always completely invalid anyway. The concept of playing a minigame while another is loading was invented long before Namco hoarded it like a gaming golem. Back in the 80s, home computers delegated to audio cassette tapes had to endure even longer loading screens. So many of them accommodated loading games, or load-in games as they were often called back then, such as Skyline Attack for the Commodore 64, or Jobei 2 for the ZX Spectrum, which ironically had Pac-Man as its loading game. But the ultimate load-in game from this period was Invade-a-Load, a pretty simple Space Invaders clone that had music composed by the legendary Rob Hubbard and was programmed by Richard Mad as a Hatter Applin, a man we'll have a great deal to talk about in an upcoming episode. So in conclusion, we all have Namco to thank for literally wasting 20 years of our lives to rampant thumb twiddling and shouting, "Oh come on!" to a panel of glass, due to a completely fraudulent patent that should never have been granted. Also, lesser so to the entire video game industry who was too bleeding lazy to check if it was even valid.